Hey guys, what's going on? I just want to talk to you a little bit about the Emerson. This is my first Emerson, if you guys remember from the other videos. So I've just been, playing with this a lot. I haven't used it. I cut a couple pieces of paper just to test the edge, which is quite nice. But haven't used it because I'm unsure if I'm keeping it or not. I found something that is really catching my eye. It's a custom it's a custom maker that I want to make a custom knife for me. But that's another story and video. But so some things I've come to realize when playing with the Emerson is, give me a second, I need two knives for this. Is that it really has. I was surprised with how good the ergonomics are of this knife. Now, I'm not a big Emerson follower. This is my first endeavor in Emerson knives. I didn't research them too much. I don't read too much about them. But apparently they're very ergonomic knives. Like, that's one of the things they're known for. I wasn't aware of that when I bought it. But like I said before, this really fits in the hand well. These 2 points of the handle, my hand fits in there just perfectly. Really comfortable knife. Thumb ramp is really good. And the fact that this is actually a little bit thicker than some of the other knives I have, and because of its thickness, it fills the hand a lot more when you put like a death grip on it. If you need to really, push into a cut, I feel like this will be a little more comfortable than thinner knives or than other knives, just because this handle might be just a little bit thicker. So besides the good shape of the ergonomics, the fact that it's thicker gives you a nice death grip kind of, as if you got to push as hard as you can, this isn't a bad knife to do it on. So I was kind of thinking, wow, I didn't realize that, the handle was so ergonomic. Why is it so ergonomic? What's it similar? I started playing with my Mannix. That's also, extremely ergonomic to me. This is very ergonomic, but in a different way. Here your fingers just fall into those grooves perfectly, and that's where you are. Here with the Emerson, it's more like not so much your fingers fall into the grooves, because it's more of just a sweeping design, but your hand gets locked in between these horns, let's call them, in between these horns, and that's where it is. Like, it gets locked in between these horns, and that's it. So it's comfortable and secure feeling. Same as this, only in a different way. This is comfortable, and honestly, after I picked this up from holding the Emerson, I don't feel like this knife is as secure in my hand as the Emerson. Partly because it is a little thinner. I can tell just from gripping this tough, this is going to have a more of a hot spot with like a death grip and just push cutting. But I was kind of wondering, so I keep getting off topic, which I always do. But I was wondering, why, how is this? I didn't realize this would be so ergonomic. And if you compare these handles, two very ergonomic knives, if you see what I'm referencing, look at where those horns are in the knives. We'll call this here and here the horns of the knife, like the beginning and the end of the handle. And I mean, look at that. They friggin' line right up. They line right up. Now, obviously, different style handle. This has more of a, distinct finger choil, and then the rest of your hand. But for the back grip right here, that's pretty much the same spot. Except for, the only thing is, since this doesn't have the wave feature, so you can put your thumb pretty high up here. You can't really do that here. You can go over it, but that's not the most comfortable. So that's, I was kind of surprised. I was like, holy crap, look at that. Same length. And actually, if you look at them together, they are, I don't know if you guys can tell, but they are extremely similar size. The Emerson's a little longer here, but this handle goes back a little farther. They're almost identical in size. However, obviously, because of the choil, the Emerson does have a larger blade length. But so just something to be curious about. Something that was kind of interesting to me. if you're interested in an Emerson, and but you like Spyderco, Spyderco's knives are ergonomic to you. You know what? There's a pretty good chance that this mini series is gonna be very ergonomic to you. Here's another one of my favorite knives. My hand feels so good in this knife; it's unbelievable. One of the ones where I feel like this was built for me. And actually, if you look at it, that's actually a really similar. Look at that. That's such a similar handle. And once again, the horns match up. I mean, on this one, maybe even more so than the Mannix. But look at that. That matches up. That almost looks like a silhouette. That almost looks like an. If you were to split the. I'm having trouble talking, like always. If you were to draw a line from this point of contact to that point of contact, it almost would be a mirror image from top to bottom. That's pretty nuts, guys. I didn't really realize that, and I gotta stop doing that. But that's pretty nuts. But the Emerson's definitely a little heavier than the Para. This is the Para 2, obviously, and here, this is what I was talking about before. Hopefully you guys can see this. Focus. There we go. Emerson's a little thicker. There you go. You can see that. Right about there. Emerson's a little thicker than the Para. And it is actually a lot thicker than the Mannix. What the heck? I would have guessed the Para was thinner than the Mannix, but not really. Look at that. Alright, guys, so there's just an overall, combination of a couple knives, a couple of my favorite knives to hold, that are really ergonomically comfortable for me. And kind of a surprise that the Emerson was as well. Some people might say, oh, well, what are you kidding me? Of course Emersons are comfortable. That's what they're known for. I didn't know that, I definitely didn't know that. But very cool. This definitely feels like this feels like a denser knife than. These are actually probably pretty similar in weight. I would say they're right around the same. And it's actually funny. These are, if you look at it, back to one of my other videos before, for the material, I was starting to say, for the materials you get here, it's a pretty expensive knife. $180 I paid for this. That's, you go online, if you buy a new knife from a shop, from Emerson, from an online site, you're paying right around $175, $180, $185. So $180 is a fair price. 154 cm G10. I don't know, you guys can make your own decisions, but which G10 handle looks nicer to you? This is interesting with the lines, but I kind of feel like that cheapens it. Not a fan. That might be more of a military look. I don't know, but I like that. I personally like this G10. And once again, this is my uses for a blade are more EDC. If your uses for a blade are more survival, camping, outdoorsy, military, if you're a military officer, if you're overseas, maybe there's benefits to this type of G10. Maybe it's just the way they cut it. I honestly don't know. But it does look different. There's no denying that. If somebody knows what the difference is, chime in. But these are actually two extremely comparable knives. Like I just said, same ergonomic grip. The handles are very similar. The blade length is similar. However, obviously the Mini Emerson has more. Mini CQC15 has longer blade because of the no choil. But 154 cm blades, G10 handles that are both ergonomic. Thumb ramps. Both jimping works well. I gotta say, the jimping on the Mannix definitely holds your finger more. The jimping alone here holds your thumb in place. However, the jimping plus the thumb ramp will hold your thumb in place, plus this handle. This really locks you in. It really locks you in. So, it's all, guys, it comes down to personal preference. Do you like recurves? Do you like Tontos? You might want to shell out more money for this than this. But this is the most basic Mannix they got. 154 cm, the regular saber grind, black G10, nothing special, nothing fancy, but a great knife. what does this cost? 60, 80 bucks? You know, $100 at its max, but I don't think it costs $100. I think it's more like, you know, 80 bucks, let's say. This is 180. So it's all preference. You know, the value, same materials. Same materials. This is $100 more. So for the value, I mean, you're probably picking the Mannix for value. You know, and this, since this is saber grind, this will have a little more metal, a little less metal behind the cutting edge, so this might slice better initially. I think this is a flat grind, so a half ground flat grind. Generally going to be a little thicker, but it slices just fine. Oops. Sorry guys, I think I heard some. I must have forgot to shut the TV off upstairs. I hear voices upstairs, and nobody's supposed to be home but me. So there you go. I guess this kind of turned into a comparison between these two, but they are awfully similar, so, you know, why not? Definitely carries thickness to the tip better, because that's saber grind. This is really a good piercing tip. This is a great slicer. You can just slice open a box just going that deep into the knife like nothing else. So, there you go, guys. Just turned into a little comparison. Hope it was not a complete waste of your time. But, yeah, you know, weigh in, you know. If you were going to show me this, alright, Emerson looks more expensive to me. That looks like it's worth the money. But then you do the rest of that, and I don't know. You know, if I was on a budget, if I was looking for a value EDC that I'm going to beat on and not care about, I'm probably going to get the Mannix. But damn, that's a cool blade shape on the Emerson. I think it just has a cool factor that attracts people. Because I got to assume, if you thump on these two knives, if you beat the shit out of them, I don't know, this is a complete and total guess. I'm sure some people are going to say you're absolutely wrong, but I'm going to say the Emerson is going to wear out first. I'm going to say if you beat on these two knives, the Emerson's going to develop some kind of play, whether it's up and down play, side to side, before this does, with this caged ball lock, as opposed to this. I think it's titanium liner. It depends. If this is titanium or steel, you know, actually the opinion might change. But if this is the titanium liner, you beat the shit out of this thing, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if this develops some kind of blade player unreliability first. I don't know. Simple guess. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. You know, hope you got something out of it. Oh, and actually, similar style pocket clips. So there you go, guys. Emerson is the most Sorry. There you go. Let's just do this. Emerson is definitely the most compact package with the longest blade length, or, you know, the most cutting edge. But it does not have the choil. So, there you go. Up to you. Obviously, pick whatever you like better. Chime in. Let me know. If you want to see anything else, let me know. Alright, see you guys. Thanks for watching.